In 2007, a customer walked into a motorcycle shop in Los Angeles and asked for a backrest. He had a Harley Davidson. He wanted somewhere for a passenger to lean. It is the least interesting request a custom shop ever receives, and most of them will quote you a price and fit a part off a shelf. The builder said no, not because of who the customer was, because the part would have ruined the line of the bike, and the man running that shop had opinions about that. The customer was Keanu Reeves. The builder was Gard Hollinger. And the argument they had over a backrest turned into a motorcycle company that now sells machines for $250,000. Start with Hollinger, because almost nobody outside the custom world knows the name, and the whole story runs through him. He was not a celebrity fabricator. He ran a shop called LA County Chop Rods, building one-off machines for people who wanted something that did not exist. That is a small, unglamorous trade. You spend your life making parts that have never been made, for customers who cannot always explain what they want. So when a well-known actor turned up asking for a bolt-on backrest, the interesting thing is not that Hollinger recognized him. It is that he treated the request the way he would treat anyone's and told him it was a bad idea. What came out of that conversation was not a backrest. It was a one-off custom built around Reeves' own Harley that took years rather than weeks. And when it was finished, Reeves did something most customers do not do. He asked to build another one. And then he asked what it would take to build them properly as a company. Arch Motorcycle launched in 2015 with Hollinger and Reeves as co-founders. Not an endorsement deal, not a name on a tank. A two-man company with a factory in Hawthorne, California, and one product. That product was the KRGT-1. The initials are theirs, Keanu Reeves and Gard Hollinger. The machine underneath is what Arch calls an American performance cruiser, which is a phrase doing a lot of work, because those two ideas normally pull against each other. At its center is a V-twin from S&S Cycle, displacing 124 cubic inches, a little over 2 litres. S&S is an American engine builder with decades of history in the aftermarket, and using their engine tells you something about the philosophy. Arch was never trying to invent an engine. It was trying to build everything around one. The price, at launch, was around $85,000. By the early 2020s, it had risen towards $94,000, which raises the obvious question, and it is the right question to ask. There are motorcycles that will out-accelerate a KRGT, one for 1/10 of that money. A superbike from any of the Japanese factories will beat it around a circuit without effort. So what exactly costs $85,000? The answer is in how the parts are made. Most motorcycle components are cast. Molten metal goes into a mold, cools, and comes out roughly the right shape, then gets machined where it matters. It is fast, it is cheap per unit, and above a certain volume, it is the only sane way to build anything. Arch machines its major structural parts from solid billet aluminium instead. A block of metal goes into a CNC machine and the finished part is cut out of it. Everything that is not the part becomes swarf on the floor. This is enormously wasteful and enormously slow. It is also how you make a part with no casting porosity, no draft angles you did not want, and dimensional accuracy that a mold cannot hold. In aerospace and racing, it is normal. On a road motorcycle, it is close to unheard of because nobody can absorb the cost. The fuel tank is machined from 2 halves and joined. The swing arm, the yokes, the housings, cut from solid. Then there is the part that is harder to photograph and probably matters more to an owner. The machines are fitted to the person buying them. Not adjusted, fitted. The ergonomics, the relationship between seat, bars, and pegs, are set up around the individual rider before the machine is built, in the way a tailor cuts a suit to a body rather than selling you a size and taking it in. That is why Arch does not really have a model range in the normal sense, and why the company measures output in the dozens rather than the thousands. It also changes what buying one means. There is no showroom where you sit on a demonstrator, agree a price, and ride out that afternoon. The machine does not exist until somebody commissions it, and the fitting happens before the building starts. That is closer to how a small aircraft or a racing car is ordered than how motorcycles are normally sold, and it puts a hard ceiling on how many can ever leave the building in a year, which is worth sitting with for a second because it explains the whole shape of the company. A factory that stamps out 50,000 machines a year can afford to be wrong about one of them. A workshop that builds a few dozen cannot be wrong about any. If you find yourself more interested in how things are actually made than in who is standing next to them, there is a subscribe button under this video. That is the entire pitch. Now, the machine that gets quoted in every headline. At the EICMA show in Milan in 2017, Arch unveiled two new motorcycles. The first was the 1S, a variation on the theme they had already established, with a single-sided swing arm in place of the conventional twin-sided arrangement on the KRGT1. That sounds like a detail. It is not. A single-sided swing arm has to carry every load through one side of the wheel instead of two, which means it has to be far stiffer, far more precisely made, and considerably more expensive. Manufacturers usually fit them for one of two reasons: endurance racing, where the wheel has to come off in seconds, or because it looks extraordinary. On a road motorcycle, it is almost always the second reason, and nobody at Arch has ever pretended otherwise. The second was the method 143, and it is the reason this company appears in articles that have nothing to do with motorcycling. The number in the name is the displacement, 143 cubic inches, which is 2,343 cubic centimeters. For scale, that is larger than the engine in a great many family cars, and it is arranged as a V-twin driving a rear wheel through a 6-speed gearbox and a dry clutch. But the engine is not the interesting part. The chassis is. The Method 143 does not have a frame in the way you are picturing. It has a carbon fibre monocell, a single structural shell that holds the fuel, houses the air filtration, and takes the loads. In a conventional motorcycle, those are 3 separate jobs done by 3 separate assemblies. Here they are one piece. That idea comes from racing, where every gram and every millimeter is fought over. Putting it on a road motorcycle means solving problems nobody is paying you to solve. The single-sided swing arm was developed with Suter Industries, a Swiss engineering firm whose name appears in Grand Prix paddocks rather than in showrooms. The exhaust is titanium and carbon fibre, built by SC Project. 23 were made. The price sits at roughly $250,000. Sources differ on the exact figure, and Arch has never treated it as a number you look up. So what is the Method 143 actually for? It is not transport. Nobody is commuting on a 3-liter carbon monocell V-twin. It is not a track weapon either. It is the thing a small company builds to prove what it can do, and to move the whole brand upward behind it. Car manufacturers do this constantly. A halo model that loses money on every unit and justifies the price of everything below it. It is unusual only because Arch is 2 men in a building, not a corporation with a marketing department. Which brings this back to the question everybody actually wants answered. How involved is Keanu Reeves, really? The honest answer is that it is very hard to prove involvement from the outside, and celebrity ventures have a long history of being exactly what they look like. But there are a few things that are checkable, and they point the same way. He is a co-founder, not a licensee. The company carries his initials alongside Hollinger's in its first product, not his face on a poster. He appears in technical interviews alongside Hollinger and talks about the machines in the specific terms of someone who has been in the room for the arguments. And the company has behaved like an engineering business rather than a merchandising one. Machining structural parts from billet, partnering with Suter, developing a carbon monocell. These are decisions that cost money and win no attention from anyone outside a very small world. A celebrity brand extension does the opposite. It minimizes engineering and maximizes visibility. There is also the simple matter of duration. Arch launched in 2015 and is still building. Ventures that exist to borrow a famous name usually do not last a decade in a business this difficult. None of that proves he is turning the machines himself. It does suggest the company is real in a way most celebrity ventures are not. The part of this story worth keeping is not the price. It is that a 2-man workshop in California decided to build motorcycles the way aerospace builds components, on the grounds that it produces a better object. and then found enough people willing to pay for the difference to keep going for a decade. That is a strange business, and it should not work. The graveyard of motorcycle manufacturing is full of small firms that built something beautiful and could not survive the arithmetic. The problem is always the same. Development costs roughly what it costs, whether you build 50 machines or 50,000, so every unit has to carry an enormous share of it. Raise the price to cover that, and you shrink the pool of buyers, which raises the share again. Most companies chase that spiral until it closes. The usual escape is to grow, get volume up, get unit costs down, become a normal manufacturer. Arch has not done that, and appears not to want to. It has stayed small deliberately, which means it has to be right about a very small number of customers, instead of being roughly right about a large number. And it started because a man asked for a backrest, and a builder who did not care, who he was told him it would spoil the line.